Today, I am obviously talking about life lessons, but to be more specific, I'm talking about life lessons that my dad has taught me. My dad, Chris Munday, is a police officer. Currently, there's been a lot of negativity associated with that profession. Whenever I tell people that my dad is a police officer, I like to look at their reactions. Some people will start to act differently by being a little more distant. Others will look around at their friends to see how they act, to see how they should react. And I find all of those reactions very interesting. So with that being said, I know that there's nothing I can do to change the stereotypes that have to do with my dad's profession. But what I can do is talk about how my dad isn't the stereotypical cop. Ever since I was younger and anyone would ask me what my parents would do, I would always be so excited and proud to say that my dad is a police officer. I've always had a positive association when it comes to cops because of what I've seen my dad do. Throughout his 26 years with the Fort Worth Police Department, I've heard many stories and seen many situations that have taught me several lifelong lessons. My dad is a person who is hardworking but humble about it. He has taught me that you don't work hard or help others just so people will give you praise, but do it because it's the right thing to do and you actually want to do it. If you put in the work to better yourself and the others around you, when or even if you reap the benefits from it, you'll appreciate everything to a much higher extent. About 5 years ago, my dad noticed that people in his neighborhood were going through the hot Texas summers without any air conditioning in their house, and he wanted to do something about it. So while he was off duty or during his lunch breaks, he would go up to Home Depot and make connections. Eventually, they were able to partner up, and they were able to give him air conditioning units and fans. So these past 4 summers, he spent several hours installing these units. But this past summer, he's been recognized by several news channels, and they asked him to speak about it on TV. But every time, he refused. Normally, people would jump at this opportunity, but he didn't feel the need to because that's not why he was doing it. He wasn't doing it for the praise or the TV time. He was just simply doing it to help out the people in his neighborhood. I've heard my dad say several times before that there's more to being a police officer than writing tickets or taking people to jail. And this is just one example of him putting his own words into action. My dad has also taught me how to trust and how to have faith. About 12 years ago, he was called to a house where a man named Thomas Hunter lived. When he got there, he looked at Thomas and he thought he looked really familiar. And that's because he's had to deal with Thomas before whenever he was on the wrong side of the law. So my dad and him started talking, and Thomas told him that he wanted to change his lifestyle, not just for himself, but also for his family. He wanted to show his kids the right way to live and how to live their life to their full potential. During this conversation, my dad also figured out that Thomas was struggling. For example, he didn't even have a door on his oven or food in the fridge. So my dad, along with other officers in our family, decided to help provide these basic necessities for him so he could start his new lifestyle on a clean slate. During this process, our families became really close. Since then, we see each other every Thanksgiving, Christmas. We go to Ranger games together. We've been to a Kirk Franklin concert together, and we just see each other at various times throughout the year. So with my interactions with the Hunters and with our relationships, I've learned many lessons from them. I've learned just part of the struggle that comes with wanting to do the right thing, but you're in the wrong environment. And I've learned that giving people experiences is much greater than giving people just gifts or money. Whenever we were able to take the Hunters to the Ranger game, they got the full experience. They walked around the whole stadium, got ballpark food, it was bobblehead night. The kids became junior Rangers, and even Thomas, so he's the oldest junior Ranger. I thought that was pretty cool. And then after the game, they were walking out of the stadium, and Thomas tells my parents, he said that was the best day of his entire life. And whenever they told me that really put it into perspective for me, because I think of going to a Ranger game is just an ordinary thing, like an everyday thing, and everybody should get to experience that. But the reality is that not everybody does, and not everybody can. And so being able to give somebody that experience where they say it's the best day of their life, or even if it's just the best day of their week or the best time of their day, it was very fulfilling. So the main point that I want to get at from our relationship with them is, and the main point that I have taken, is that friendships can come from unlikely places, but you just have to have faith in order for that relationship to work. My dad had to have faith in Thomas and that he wouldn't just use my dad and then go back into his old ways. And Thomas had to have faith in my dad and that my dad would treat him with respect and actually help him throughout these hard times. And because they both helped out each other and trusted each other, our families are really close because of it, and I'm really grateful for that. So, to be honest, I chose to speak about my dad for 2 reasons today. The first reason, and the main reason, is because I wanted to see if I could make him cry. And the second reason is because I wanted to brag about him. With the media being quick to share anything remotely negative about the bad cops, the good cops get overshadowed and honestly forgotten. So today I just wanted to shine a spotlight on a good cop that just so happened to be my dad. Thank you.